There we go. There you get a look at Luis Scott-Vargas and Paul sandwiching Paul Rietzel with Eric Froelich there. And it looks like
he's playing Dave Williams.
Yeah. So it looks like Misfire Adept is going to be his pick here.
A solid first pick here. Oh, he's also got a Yasova Dragonclaw pulled to the front too, though. Both of them solid.
It's a fine card.
I don't think he wants to play against either of these, so he is going to have to pass something decent.
I guess the ability to push your opponent into 3 colors and then cut them
could be good. This is a tough choice for Luis. He knows he's giving up a strong card. Remember, this is team draft, so whatever card he passes is going to make the cut most likely for his opponent. And it looks like he is going to take the Misfire Adept here.
Misfire Adept, a rare pick of uncommon over rare. Especially in team draft, it's even more rare. Or is that more uncommon? I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah. There we see a Sultai Emissary.
Yeah, there's a Whisk Away sitting back there and a Goblin Heel Cutter as well.
Reach of Shadows.
So what you're gonna see here is Luis try to balance out the fact of what he wants to be doing.
Arcbond.
That's an Arcbond. He loves that card. He does. He rates it quite highly. But he's going to try to balance out what he needs best for his deck versus what he thinks he can hurt his opponent on. It's this weird balance.
You sounded like a parent who has had a child do something bad, and you're like, your daughter just got an F. You did not sound like you're a big fan of the Arcbond.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I think it's totally fine.
Pick he made here?
Yeah, he took it, yeah. No, I think Arcbond's pretty good. Wow.
Is that a Shu Yun?
Shu Yun. I think Luis will look at the rest of the pack, but I don't think that he needs to look a lot further than a Shu Yun here. I mean, that card's quite strong.
Yep, and he does take the Shu Yun. So 2 blue cards, a red card. He's been blue-red a lot this weekend.
I actually got that feeling too, that he was leaning that way on the Misfire Adept because of that. He's had a lot of success with blue-red over the course of the weekend, and I think maybe he's kind of in a groove with it. Feels like he knows the new cards, knows the interactions, and might have a bit of an edge there. Also, when it comes to taking red cards, you've got Paul Rietzel on your left, who likes to play white-based decks with a lot of red pretty often, and then he might be trying to cut a few of those from him too.
So, Fierce Invocation, Whisk Away. Was there a Jeskai Sage in there?
Didn't see it.
Might have been a rim mark.
Okay. Yeah, well, there's a difference.
I agree.
Mardu's Scout as well, which is a card that Luis has played it quite a bit with. Not that it's a great card, but he's gotten good value out of it. Yeah, I think that is a Jeskai Sage. Yeah, Whisk Away is really strong.
Yeah, you surprised the Sage isn't a little further?
No. No, I think that's a card he could get back, and also I think that Whisk Away is really good. I mean, you don't get removal in blue that often, and that effectively is what that card is.
And it plays on offense and defense. And that's he takes the Whisk Away.
Two-headed giant peas, 1 sword in their belly, as well as Hope and Matthias. Please report for green business items.
Swiftwater Cliffs seems like could be in the mix here.
Those are the cards that can be difficult to pick up for a deck like this, and one thing that happens a lot in team draft is that you end up playing more colors than you may be comfortable playing, and picking up a key mana fixing card can be a big gain. There's another Mardu Scout. They are just flying around the table here. It's the 3rd one that Luis has passed. Not that it's a high pick, but it's something he's going to have his eye on for sure.
Right. Also an enhanced awareness. That seems like
there's a couple of those too.
Seems like exactly the kind of card Luis Scott-Vargas.
He does like those
really
cards.
Likes.
Unfortunately, I don't think they go very well in the type of deck that he's drafting here, though we don't really know yet exactly where he's
collateral damage.
It's hard to see the cards there.
Is that no? Oh, that's a refocus.
Teamer Battle Rage there.
How do you like that card?
I don't like it very much at all.
People seem pretty high on it.
Yeah, the problem that I have with it is that you can't use it defensively very well. You kind of can, but you got to really have a situation. The upside to it is that it can create a lot of damage where people didn't think they were going to take the damage. But
So-
yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
So reality shift is in the removal suite. Looks like he's also got a cunning strike.
Yeah, there's a cunning strike. That's a solid card for his
But he
deck.
took the reality shift.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't want a lot of cunning strikes, but one would probably be quite nice for his deck. You can see Luis going deep in the tank here. Remember, he's not just thinking about what's good for his deck and what he wants to
absolutely.
pick. He's thinking about what can I take to really hose my opponents here. Any card he passes to Paul Rietzel is a card he could be playing against.
Takes the rune mark.
So Jeskai Rune Mark, yeah, he's aggressive, you know?
Yeah, and he's been Luis has been playing the rune marks.
Yeah, I've heard that Shahar is fond of them as well. I mean, look, if you're trying to get your opponent dead fast, they do a good job. All right, Will of the Naga has come back to Luis, and it also seems like one of the better cards in the pack
And
anyway.
collateral damage is not a card you can really play in blue-red. You really need to be like Mardu or
Yeah.
red-white tokens or red-white junk creatures.
Yeah, like basically the deal is if he wants to play that, if he wants to pick one, he would speculate on it very late in the pack, but not dedicate a real pick to it. And then he would figure, and then he would see if he could fit it into his deck later.
Right. Fierce Invocation or Rune Mark here.
Yeah, I think Fierce Invocation is a pretty easy pick out of these two. His deck looks like the only one that really wants a Rune Mark. There's still a lot of green cards floating around, but none of them are amazing. One thing that Luis will also be noting, he just passed a Winds of Qualsisma. Now, normally you think about that a little bit in the draft, but when they go to sit down to build their pool, he's going to go, Ephro, did you get the wins? No. Paul, did you get the wins? No. One of them has wins.
Right.
So the green player could have that card. And, you know, the fact that the other team knows that you have it makes it a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like, you get blown out by it once, but you don't get blown out by it twice.
And I feel like just D-up that Hunt the Week.
Hunt the Week, get out of there. It's
Possibly splash it if you end up teamer.
could end up teamer. It's also just good against him. Refocus for Luis, just continuing to cut blue as there's not that many cards left in the pack now.
Ephro's deck in the first draft had like 3 banners. He was full.
Wow.
He was full 5 colors.
He didn't win his match, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah,
no,
he
he didn't. It was Paul and Luis that won their match.
Well, he may not. It may have not. It may not have finished.
Oh, okay.
It may
fair.
not have finished. I apologize.
The old triple banner deck.
Yeah, it was. But he had like
That's a tough sell.
Tassiger.
He would
and
not
had,
have been- oh.
He had Tassiger and he had Doom
Tassiger.
Blast and he had.
Okay. Well, now that's getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate
Frenzy.
banners as much as many, but I don't like them.
Right. You don't like them as much as St. Neil Oliver.
Right.
Or apparently.
Who flies a banner for the banners. So Luis is taking a close look here. He's also showing our spotter, what he picked. So Shuyan the Silent Tempest is a great pickup for Luis and a real signal here. It also goes right into the strategy that this blue-red deck wants to be doing. So overall, a pretty solid pack for Luis. I don't think he passed anything too great outside of the Yasova. That was a really awkward thing.
Yeah.
He'll also default to picking green cards going to the left just to try to take them away from presumably the pick that Paul Rietzel made, which was, he's going to assume Yasova.
Right.
Certainly entirely possible.
So he can make flying, double striking creatures between his
Yes.
triggers on a non-creature spell.
Looks like he's pulled a few cards up to the front, and he needs to adjust his shirt. This is not an easy pick. He's got Arrow of the Wilds.
Looks like there's a Winter Flame.
Winter Flame back there too. He is leaning towards Teamer. I would say he's just going to take Winter Flame kind of no matter what, but you'll see that
He also had that Volley of Boulders pretty high up there. And now
The Barrage of Boulders?
Barrage of Boulders, sorry, yeah. And now the Glacial Stalker's gone up to the front as well.
he might take the Stalker and hope to wheel the Winter Flame. There's not that many decks that can play Winter Flame. It goes perfectly into his deck, but he is a little threat light, and he knows he's not going to get back Glacial Stalker. That's one of the better cards in the pack.
Well, there's a River Wheel Aerialist.
Yeah, that's not bad. And that, well, interesting. So he could take the Warden. You see him also bring the Armament Core to the front as well.
Just eat this.
You know, this is going to depend much deeper on what Luis's read of the situation is, and I don't think he has quite enough information to just take, to just cack that thing.
His Armament Core is so much more, devastating in his opponent's decks than having a River Wheel Aerialist for his.
It is one of the best cards in the whole set. It's the best non-rare.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they ran the numbers. Like Lee Sharp down at Wizards, that's the card. So Luis says, I just refuse to let my opponents have this, and I'm not getting anything amazing for my deck. Aerialist is a nice curve topper for a blue-red deck, but he would rather be much more slimmed down anyway.
Okay.
So he takes it.
He's doing his job. I mean, you're trying to muck up your opponent. You get to the end of a draft and your draft is a little bit of a mess. That means there's two messes on either side of you as well.
That's right. And as long as your mess is wow.
Kara Spellsnatcher.
Hello, friend. So he'll be taking that. But he is taking a close look at the rest of the pack here and trying to figure out what else he might get back.
So if he doesn't take that, you think he just takes Crippling Chill there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The problem is he is threat light. Like, if you look at that pack, he didn't get those scouts back. So, he does need to find sort of where his strategy actually lies here. And he's got a couple of good options here. He's actually got 3 decent choices. He's got the Bloodfire Expert, which goes right into the deck that he's drafting now.
Fernwood Falls, if he splashes a little green.
Yes, exactly. That's if he wants to splash green.
Is there a Snowhorn Rider in there
Yes,
too?
there was that too. So he's got options. He just is going to stick on plan here, though.
How do you feel about Mardu Ascendancy?
It went up for me over the course of the format.
Yeah.
I wasn't super impressed with it at first, but I found that you can, in a lot of board states, you can apply more pressure than you'd think would be possible. And if that's not the case, then just sacrificing it to pump your team.
I don't know if you saw what I saw.
He's not doing it.
I don't know if you saw what I saw.
Slide. He's not doing it.
He's looking at a Teamer Charger.
He's going to take
He's looking at a Leaping Master,
Master,
but he's thinking. He may be taking the Leaping Master, but he's thinking about the Goblins.
That is true. I mean, everybody thinks that Luis just drafts these crazy decks, and he does have a propensity to do that. But, I'll say watching him on a draft video is not the same thing as top 4 in a team draft here.
Finals of a team draft.
Finals of a team draft. That's just a whole different world. I don't think he's going to be bringing the Blaze. Yeah, this is a nice cut for him. There's nothing that stands out, so he can take the Sultai Flare from the green player. Really interesting to see that here. It does signal that perhaps Paul Rietzel's not in green, because Sultai Flare is one of the better green cards, full stop. It's just a great green card. In general, it attacks well, it blocks well, it gets you value when it dies.
One of the weird things that happen in team draft is you also worry. You get past this bomb green card, you're like,
hey, look what came back, by the way.
Oh, Winter Flame.
Plan A.
You think your opponent is trying to force you into green so they can cut you off. And so sometimes you're like, you know what, I'm not stepping into this gopher hole here, and you pass it along. I don't know if that's what happened.
Looks like he did not take the...
What did he take there?
She didn't see, but I'm surprised he didn't take that there. The Winter Flame seemed like a nice pickup. He took Barrage of Boulders. All right, so he just values Barrage of Boulders higher than Winter Flame in his deck. That's fine. That makes sense. I mean, they both came back. He would take either.
Right, he took the Barrage of Boulders, yeah.
Yeah, took Barrage. And the Crippling Chill came back too. Now the question is, how much does he value that? It looks like that one's high enough to go. He would not like to have to face down the long shot squad, but he would rather have the Crippling Chill plus Arena. And there's not much here.
Yeah, you just take Roar of the Challenge out here?
Yeah, Roar of Challenge is fine. He's just going to cut something. If he ends up splashing green, that is sort of another barrage. And there's the Goblin Slide.
Tank time.
Going into the tank. I mean, he wouldn't waste a real pick on this,
well,
but I don't think he is.
There's a cancel there is the issue. And he's like, you know what, I can't let this cancel.
Yeah, he steals his resolve.
Yeah.
And makes a tough pick there.
Not what you think is a tough pick,
no.
But a tough pick. Nonetheless. Oh, look at him! Look at him getting rewarded with an instant speed divination. Weave fate.
You know, that's not 0% to make the cut. For those of you just tuning in, we watched, and take a look at Luis's deck here as he fans it out. We watched Craig Wesco win with Firehoof Cavalry against Sperling, who was playing Siegecraft.
Oh yeah, and Sperling was giving him the needle the whole time.
Sperling was?
Sperling was giving him the needle the whole time, and then
how dare he? Me and Paulo were both shocked because we're like, we've never seen Siegecast resolve before.
How many on-camera Firehoof Cavalries have you seen?
0. Also, Erishan Cleric.
Oh yeah.
Saw it play. This is in the same game, by the way.
That may have prompted a little bit of a Sperling needle there.
It could have. Paulo figured he was just covering all his bases, defense and offense.
Oh, Valley Dasher in the mix.
Oh, Valley Dasher's definitely in the mix with this deck. Still not a super high quality card, but it fits into the theme quite nicely. Yeah, so it looks like Luis has done a good job.
In Teamer Battle Rage, if you have a propensity to play it, how many do you play?
We saw people play 2 of them in the sealed portion earlier today.
Yeah.
Remember, that's team sealed, so very, very good decks where you have other options. I would be fine with playing 1.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, he picks up another Bloodfire Expert or 2, and all of a sudden that thing can represent, 5 extra damage or whatever. So, yeah, it can be a good thing. Oh, no. So
look at this pack.
Yeah, this pack's quite strong. Luis is just going to have to take the Wingmate Rock here, though. Yeah,
nothing that's going to. I mean, cards he'd be reasonably happy to pick, but nothing he'd be happier to pick than counter-drafting a Wingmate Rock.
He just wheeled a Crippling Chill. He's not that worried about it, but he just has to take the Rock. Now, the question is, does he pick up a few lands and can he actually splash it? The answer is probably not.
Probably.
Yeah, a double white card is going to be really difficult to splash for Luis, so it's probably just going to be a cut. But it will change the way that he looks at these next packs just in case something pops up, because that is, of course, the best card in the whole format. All right, there's a Trumpet Blast and an Act of Treason.
But Force Away fits in perfectly with
this
deck.
Very good.
Bounce that guy, give this guy flying, give that guy double strike.
I like it. All tempo, all day here for Luis Scott-Vargas, who found another Bloodfire Expert.
Yeah. And may find another Valley Dasher, coming around the table.
I think he will.
They didn't come back
It
around.
only has one wall to go through. That's Paul Rietzel.
Right. When we watched it first, and he had opened a Wrath, so it was impossible. But Wesco did not let them pass.
Yeah, your standards go down for sure in this setup. And Luis isn't going to be happy to ship that Sultai Flare. Not only is it good for the green drafter, though it is in question right now whether Paul's even in green since he got past one the other direction. But that card's good against Luis. A 3/4 on turn 4 brick walls a lot of what Luis is trying to do. There's another Barrage of Boulders. Ooh, and a Hordling Outburst. Wow. Yeah, I think that's what's going to end up being the pick here.
Yep.
That's a great pickup for Luis. He's also not passing anything incredible, so a really nice pack there for Luis.
Triggers Prowess, makes things fly with his Misfire Adapt, gives him some blockers on the ground if he's like getting into a race situation.
Which he will find himself in pretty often. No, totally. Also 3 power for 3 mana. You don't get that very often.
He ends up with a Trumpet Blast somewhere along the way. It can also represent damage you weren't counting on.
All right, and he's finally hit a pack that doesn't have much. He's shipping back, so he's not going to get anything out of that.
Took his Whirlwind Adapt. He loves that card.
He plays it. No, it's perfectly fine in this deck.
He took it over like an Eye-Out Tracker.
Look, the thing is, these decks look like a Prowess deck, but they end up playing almost like a Ferocious deck because of the Barrage of Boulders. So that's a great way to enable Ferocious and get in for a ton of damage.
Takes the Thornwood Falls.
So he does actually have a green splash available here, though I don't think he's going to do it when it comes to the build. I think he's got enough playables.
I don't think he's got anything that compels him enough to, hurt his mana base. Oh, look at that crippling chill coming around the
Chill's
table.
back again. So at this point, Luis basically has a deck, and he can afford to cut other cards if necessary.
Yeah, he was doing it earlier. I'm sure he can still do it.
Well, he was doing that because it was a bomb quality card, but he could even cut something mediocre here if he really felt like he didn't want to see it on the other side of the table. He's in a pretty luxurious position at this point.
Had to use at least 2 of his first picks on cards he doesn't want other people to have.
That's right. Yeah, if he could splash the Wingmate Rock, he would, but it doesn't look like his deck is going to give him that opportunity.
Active Treason, fine card. Could hate draft an Obzon guide. Teamer Ascendancy?
Yeah, that's not a card that he's going to care about much. So he's trying to decide if counter draft in the Obzon guide.
In there.
Yeah, that's pretty good too, especially since he got the Horling Outburst. But the thing is, the Active Treason's like quite good in his deck, and so he's trying to weigh that versus how much do I not want somebody to have the other. And yeah, even just a morph here is okay for Luis too.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great teamer mana base. He just doesn't have the teamer cards.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, get that Russia Battle.
Yeah, that is the most powerful card. The
That's the
Kermog
card
Swiftwing is actually very annoying for Luis.
Yeah.
But the Rush of Battle's a real card, so he's going to take that instead.
Counter drafts a banner from Efro.
Efro's not going to be happy you said that.
And Teamer Ascendancy is the last pick in the draft. Fires of Yavimaya, it has not turned out to be.
No.
Although it made a splash of Standard last week.